Hi, welcome to the Success Seeds. In this video, Napoleon Hill, the author of the classic self-help book, Think and Grow Rich, believed that our fears are one of the biggest obstacles to achieving our goals and living a fulfilling life. Here are 6 common fears and tips on how to overcome them. It will be to your advantage to remember that this lesson is practical, that it offers you the discoveries of more than 25 years of research, and that it has the endorsement of the top scientists in the world who have thoroughly examined each of the underlying principles before tackling them. The greatest adversary of advancement and personal growth is skepticism. To approach this lesson with the impression that it was written by some long-haired thinker who had never tried the concepts upon which it is built, you might as well put this book aside and stop right here. The 6 basic fears of mankind. Every person falls heir to the influence of 6 basic fears. Under these 6 fears may be listed the lesser fears. The 6 basic or major fears are here enumerated, and the sources from which they are believed to have grown are described. The 6 basic fears are: 1. The fear of poverty. 2. The fear of old age. 3. The fear of criticism. 4. The fear of loss of love of someone. 5. The fear of ill health. 6. The fear of death. 1. The fear of poverty. It takes guts to reveal the source of this anxiety, and perhaps much more fortitude to accept the reality after it has been revealed. The innate propensity of man to exploit his fellow man financially is where the fear of poverty originated. Almost all lower animal forms have instincts, but they don't seem to have the capacity for thought or reasoning, therefore they physically prey upon one another. Man eats his fellow humans financially rather than physically because of his better capacity for intuition, thinking, and reason. The era in which we currently reside appears to be the age of money worship out of all the eras of the globe that we are aware of. Unless a man can demonstrate a huge bank account, he is regarded as being no more than the dust of the ground. Nothing causes more pain and shame for man than poverty. Why should man fear poverty? Man has undoubtedly learned through a long history of hereditary interactions with the man-beast that this animal cannot always be trusted when it comes to financial problems and other indications of earthly goods. Many marriages are started, and frequently end, primarily because of the amount of wealth that one or both of the contractual parties have. The second of the 6 basic fears with which man is bound is 2. The fear of old age. This worry primarily stems from 2 sources. First, consider the possibility that old age could result in poverty. Second, and by far the most typical source of origin, is from false and cruel sectarian teachings that have been so expertly blended with fire and brimstone, purgatories, and other fables that people have learned to fear old age because it signified the approach of another world that may be even worse than this one, which is known to be bad enough. Man has 2 very good reasons for his fundamental fear of aging, one stemming from his mistrust of his fellow humans, who may take whatever material possessions he may own, and the other from the terrifying images of the afterlife that were ingrained in his mind through the law of social heredity long before he came into possession of that mind. The third of the 6 basic fears is 3. The fear of criticism. It would be difficult, if not impossible, to pinpoint how man came to possess this fundamental phobia, but one thing is for certain: he does. Some people think that this fear first manifested in human consciousness about the time that politics emerged. Some contend that it can be traced back to the inaugural gathering of a group of females known as a woman's club. Another school of humorists attributes the genre's creation to the Holy Bible's many pages of extremely vituperative and violent kinds of criticism. If the latter assertion is true, and those who take the Bible's teachings literally are not erroneous, then God is to blame for people's innate dread of criticism because he inspired the writing of the Bible. The 4th basic fear is that of 4. The fear of loss of love of someone. The root of this dread requires minimal explanation because it is clear that it is in man's nature to kidnap his fellow man's mate, or at the very least to take advantage of her without telling her true Lord and Master. The assertion that all men are polygamous by nature will undoubtedly elicit denials from those who are either too old to engage in sexual activity normally, or who, due to some other factor, have lost the contents of certain glands that are responsible for a man's propensity toward the plurality of the opposite sex. There is no doubt that man's inherited dread of the loss of someone's love is the root cause of jealousy and all other related types of more or less mild dementia precox, insanity. The 5th basic fear is that of 5. The fear of ill health. This apprehension derives, in large part, from the same roots as the apprehensions of poverty and old age. Because it also goes to the edge of awful realms, that man does not know about but about which he has heard some unsettling tales, the fear of ill health must necessarily be strongly related to both poverty and old age. The author has a strong suspicion that individuals in the business of promoting healthy lifestyles have contributed significantly to preserving the fear of ill health in people's minds. The world has been aware of numerous and disparate types of therapy and health providers for longer than the record of the human race can be trusted. It only seems sense that a man who makes his living by maintaining the health of others would employ all available tactics to convince others that they require his services. As a result, it's possible that over time, people will inherit a fear of illness. The sixth and last of the 6 basic fears is that of 6. The fear of death. This is widely regarded as the worst of the 6 fundamental phobias, and even the most casual psychology student can understand why. Religious fanaticism is the cause that is more accountable for the awful pangs of fear associated with death than all other sources combined. The so-called heathen are less frightened of death than the so-called civilized, particularly that segment of the civilized people that has been influenced by theology. Man has been asking the still unanswered, and, it may be, unanswerable, question, why, for hundreds of millions of years. Plus, whither? Where am I going after I die, and where did I come from? The truth is that no man knows where we come from at birth or where we are going when we die, and that no man has ever known either. Anyone who asserts differently is either deluding themselves or is a purposeful charlatan who makes it their business to survive by preying on people's gullibility. Be it known, however, that the bulk of individuals engaged in selling tickets into paradise truly think that not only do they know where heaven is, but also that those who subscribe to their creeds and formulas will be granted entry. In summary, to overcome your fears, focus on the present moment, take small steps towards your goals, and reframe your fears as opportunities for growth and learning. Remember that fear is a natural part of life, but it doesn't have to hold you back from living the life you want. Thanks for watching. For more such videos, please subscribe.